Too Many Games is a gaming convention held in Oaks, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia. I've been going since 2018 and I love this place. Honestly, it's been the highlight of my year every time I've gone. Last time, my channel was just getting its start and I posted a little pickup video. Today I have something a little more special than just showing the games I bought on my carpet. I documented my trip and was joined by a good friend of mine, Row Reviews. He flew in all the way from Florida and we hung out and had a blast up here in Philly. Once you're done watching this video, make sure you go check out his too. Fun fact! I broke my leg and physically heard it snap on Thursday. Throughout the duration of the convention, I was kind of limping around and walking slow. Luckily, I was able to tough it out, but now I can't really walk anymore and I'm in this boot thing and crutches. I'll be damned if it wasn't worth it. This was one of the most fun experiences of my life. I'm gonna be covering the whole trip, so if you just want to skip to the convention stuff, I have timestamped this video so you can make use of that if you wish. So let's waste no more time and hit the road. Now, a bit of a tradition for me is to go to the King of Prussia Mall before the convention starts on Friday. This place is absolutely huge. While walking around, this little store stuck out, the As Seen on TV store. Shelves are stocked with a bunch of oddly specific products that are fun to have a good laugh at. I mean, just look at these boxes. Of course, you got the Flex Seal family of products, but also weed gloves and socks. Maybe you can't put on your weed socks. Try the sock slider. Can you no longer stand on your own? Liberty Lift. Take a closer look at this box. Notice anything off? We had a great time laughing at all of these products. Another store I spent some time in was Pepper Palace. It's a shop dedicated to a ton of different hot sauces, and I love spicy food, so I picked out some new sauces for home. We also visited the Rock Shop. I don't think I've ever talked about this on the channel yet, but I love music probably about as much as I love video games. So the first pickups of the trip aren't even games. I grabbed Weezer's Blue Album and Pinkerton. Both are fantastic albums, Pink being in my top 10. Also, Ween's Pure Guava. Ween has got to be my favorite band next to Anamanaguchi. It's harder to find them, but the duo is just so creative and has covered about every genre. Pure Guava is one of their earlier albums, and I don't think I'd recommend it to the general listener. If you want an album that's a little more easy to digest, go with White Pepper or Mollusk. Guava is super lo-fi and unconventional. Ween kind of changes your perspective about what you'd consider music with their pitch-shifty guitars and strange vocals. I could talk for quite a while about this band. Maybe I should make a music review channel, but to wrap things up, I was pretty excited to get my hands on these because the band's from around this side of Pennsylvania and the records on eBay and Discogs can fetch quite the pretty penny. Well, after we finished up at the mall, it's finally time to head over to the convention. Sure is good to be back. The show floor is filled with a bunch of vendors. It's overwhelming at first how much stuff there is to buy. First game I decided to nab was Point Blank 2. I've been looking at this game for a while as I love the Point Blank series in the arcades, and hope to collect the whole trilogy. While there may be too many of them, there's more than just buying games here at TMG. Off in the corner is the Indie Games Showcase. We played this cool little fighting game called Fight.exe. The developer went for this 90s internet aesthetic and I love how it looks. Now, I know these aren't games, but they sort of count. This is Jackass Volumes 2 and 3 on UMD Video. In the 2000s, Sony was pushing the PSP as this multimedia device and released a bunch of these movies and shows to play on the handheld. They're like the weird portable cousin of DVDs, and I've started a collection of them this year. I love Jackass, and this will make a fine addition to my library. After a bit more looking around, I found my first Saturn game, Myst, the point-and-click puzzle adventure classic. This is a great port of the PC game, and a good, relatively inexpensive game for the system. That was all I bought on Friday. I usually like to get most of the things later into Saturday and Sunday, because it's much easier to bargain with people. Yeah, the one-of-a-kind rare stuff will go in the first few hours of Friday, but I wasn't really looking for anything too out of the ordinary on this trip. Another big part of Too Many Games I haven't mentioned yet are the panels. Anyone can host a panel, whether that be a Q&A, trivia show, or informative presentation. The convention has a wide variety of things to see. First one we chose to go to was the Cinemassacre panel. Screenwave Media owns and runs the convention, and while I sure do have some opinions on modern AVGN, they do a great job running the con, and this panel wasn't half bad. It was pretty much just a live podcast. James and the gang talked about a bunch of random stuff while taking a few questions, and I found it entertaining. We hung out for a bit until it was time for another panel, Doug Walker himself. Now, if you don't know, Doug Walker is an interesting lad. One of his most infamous reviews was Pink Floyd's The Wall. The Doug panel itself wasn't that bad. The topic he chose to speak about was how to be a YouTuber, and while that might not suit a guy like him, the advice given was solid. But we were mainly there for him to sign my vinyl of The Wall. In fact, he noticed it during his panel, and let me tell you, that was glorious. After the presentation wrapped up, I got out my red Sharpie, tossed the camera to Row, and this legendary event unfolded.
Yeah, your videos are great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gotta do it in the middle.
Like the cover. Now my friend.
I actually do kind of sound like Pink Floyd. Actually, like the wall a little bit. I never realized that.
All right, can we get like a picture?
Hang on. Yeah, let's just kind of, we'll screenshot it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
Awesome.
take yourself back, you know.
My friend Fuseful, he couldn't make it, but he really loves your videos.
Oh, cool.
So can you say hi to him real quick?
The
yeah.
world was different then too.
Oh,
and I was young.
Hi, what's your name?
Fuseful.
Fuseful. I'm glad you love my videos. I love that you love my videos, so I love you. Even though I never met you, I love you that much.
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
I guess if you
Fusefall is officially part of the channel Awesome Canon. Nostalgia Critic himself loves the guy that made the Mighty Number 9 video. And even better, he was wearing the same shirt he did in that crying computer video. I have no clue how we kept it together and didn't break down laughing in that minute, but we were damn close. Also, I don't casually dress like a ska punk on a day-to-day basis, it was for a joke. And thus wraps up day 1 of Too Many Games. On Saturday, the convention starts at 11 a.m., so we didn't do anything before it started outside of eating breakfast. Day 2 is a long one. They keep the place open for close to 12 hours. Now, we're not crazy enough to stay the whole time, but we never ran out of things to do. At this point, you get a feel for most of the booths and kinda know where the stuff's at. One of my main priorities was finding a copy of Sonic 3D Blast for Saturn. Only a couple booths carried a decent amount of Saturn games, and I found myself frequenting them. While I was looking, I found this copy of Ace Combat 2, yet another second entry to a Namco PS1 trilogy of arcade ports I hope to complete. Funny how well this lines up with Point Blank. Eventually, I did get a hold of 3D Blast, and man, it was satisfying. I've been wanting this game for a little under a year at this point, and I haven't been able to find one physically. Some think this game's a bit mediocre, but I find the Saturn version enjoyable for its enhancements, better control, and a fantastic soundtrack. Another Saturn game I picked up is Virtua Racing. I love Virtua Racing a lot. I know I've talked about Sega Arcade Racers a bunch before, and this is among my favorites. The Saturn version here is interesting. The devs recreated the game and put a new spin on it. It doesn't control like the original, but there's a bunch of new tracks and vehicles. I highly recommend this game. You get a great value for the price. There are also a few booths selling import games. Decided to grab a few Bimani games for the PS1. These are dirt cheap and fun to collect. We took a little break, got a lemonade, and chilled in their arcade section for a little bit. Now it's time for the Scott the Woz panel. This one was absolutely packed. Felt like a concert. Back in 2019, Scott filled one of their smaller rooms, but only 2 years later, he can cram the entire main stage. I went to this with a mission. I stood relatively close off to the side, holding up a jar of Mount Olive pickles, and asked Scott a single question.
We got the pickles. Yeah, what's up?
You want a pickle?
Yeah. I won't eat them, but I love them. They're more so like a conversation piece, you know? No. Okay. I thought you were opening. Oh, he lost. Yeah, that's going right up here.
I really couldn't think of anything of substance to ask, so I just thought this would be funny. He kept them up for the duration of the panel. My sister also joined us for this panel. She doesn't even watch Scott, but was determined to make him uncomfortable live.
I have money. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, but you're not paying me. What do you got? Yeah. Do I like back to front or front to back? Whoa, personal. Get an arrow. We'll probably be somewhere on the show floor, so you can come over and chat with us. No. We can just do that. It'll be a fun time. That was also impressive. Congratulations.
She won an Internet and You tape, Internet and You shirt, and Madagascar for PS2. I missed out on the initial fundraiser, so we're super stoked to have this extra special VHS. On my way out of the Scott panel, I went to the Screenwave booth, and I've had my eye on this AVGN X Blu-ray for a while and decided to just get one here. I want to get my hands on more YouTuber Blu-rays because they're so cool. And if you want to get your hands on a YouTuber Blu-ray, you can very, very soon because the Amiiben Season 2 Blu-ray will be up for sale shortly. I gave away early copies of these back in July, but now you can finally buy them whenever you please. Also, introducing the Amiiben Season 1 Blu-ray. Are these episodes as good as Part 2? Hell no, but you can't have Part 2 without Part 1. That would look weird on a shelf. The website isn't quite ready yet, so sign up for the mailing list if you're interested. By now, we got pretty worn out. It's been a long day of walking around. Time to head back to the hotel. Later that night, we met up in the hotel lobby to do God's work. setting up my Sega Saturn and a portable screen to play Ratatouille on CD. You really think I can leave the house without my Sega Saturn and portable DVD player with video inputs? Think again. This setup is highly convenient and not at all complicated. We can finally listen to I Can't Stop Partying wherever we go. We didn't just jam out to Rivers Cuomo's Worst Song. I also showed Ro a couple of Saturn games and tried out my new copy of 3D Blast. After a few rounds of Fighters Megamix, we decided to call it a night. Sunday. A bit rainy this morning. Before the con, I got some breakfast at this cute little diner cafe place and ate a... Instead of going right to the vendors, we decided to start the day by heading to their arcade area. This place is super cool. There's a bunch of arcade cabinets with a wide variety of well-known and obscure games. Classy Gent Ro was playing a bit of Dancing Eyes by Namco, and I finally got to play some Wild Riders. I first heard about this game through this review by Sonic Kick, go check that out if you haven't, and have been dying to play it. It's like a mix between Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and Hang On, meaning that it's amazing. There was also a Primus pinball machine, something I never knew existed, but glad does. A highlight of the day was this Japanese console and computer section. I love tinkering around with these machines. Finally getting the chance to play an MSX was great. I've always wanted to have one, but they're just out of my budget at the moment. They also had a PC Engine CD. You know what we had to do. There was also a cosplay contest, but we only caught a little bit of it. Shoutouts to Green Tea Guy, I loved him. We went back to the vendor floor one last time and ran into a familiar face.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Let's move in a little bit so we don't...
Alright.
Is there any, like, spot particularly you'd
How
want?
about right there?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, I love Star Tropics.
It's weird seeing these people on the internet in person. I don't know how to describe it, but Ant Dude existing in real life is just cool, okay? My final pickups of the day include some Super Famicom games and Wagon Land 2. There was this import booth and the fellas running it were just not willing to make a deal. They had a great selection, but disgusting prices, so I only bought Wagon 2 because I really wanted it, but I still got a bad deal. Remember how I got Point Blank 2 on Friday? Well, I also had to pick up a gun con. I've been using this third-party light gun for a while, so it's nice to have the official thing. And finally, Panzer Dragoon for the Sega Saturn. This game wasn't that cheap, but it is essential to the Saturn library. One of the console's many masterpieces, and I'm stoked to play it. Well, it's been a great weekend. Time to start heading back. But first, I wanted to see if I could get more Ween records. So I went to this local record store called Matone's Music and found the Mollusk and Quebec on vinyl. Mollusk is probably my second favorite album ever, right behind Endless Fantasy. These are their best albums, and I could nerd out about them, but I'll save you the time. Too Many Games was great this year. It was so good to be back at a convention. Hanging out while buying, playing, and looking at video games is just a fantastic experience. I love traveling and seeing new places, and the suburbs of Philly are a nice little area. Been having a lot of fun with my new games, and editing this video was a great time too. If you want to be notified about future videos and support the channel, subscribe, join the Amiiben Discord if you'd like, sign up for that Blu-ray mailing list if you're interested in those, and make sure you check out Ro Review's Too Many Games trip video to see it from his perspective. If you enjoyed this video, you'll surely like his. That's about it for now. I'm Amiiben, and I'll catch you later.